work, I went from doing nothing to doing a lot of stuff now. So I'm kind of in demand, and the neck tenses up a lot. Could you suggest something throughout the day as to put on topically or whatever for the neck tensing up? I have been using Birch Complex, but
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
wondering if there might be something else.
So first off, how's it feel to be in so much demand when you went from like not sure you're gonna keep it to like it feels good, but like are you starting to get like stressed or anxious or frustrated, anything like that?
Overwhelmed and frustrated.
Overwhelmed.
And it feels like I can't do it, but that isn't true. I'm noticing it's like just so much is coming in so fast that I can't keep up. And I have this one manager that I work with, and he was kind of fun or really okay to work with when I wasn't busy. But now that I'm busy, he's pretty difficult because I have to redo stuff, and he's scattered, and he struggles.
Okay.
So I have to compensate for that, and it puts more work on me.
Yeah. So I would do a couple of things. You're probably going to have to find like a little repertoire to draw upon like in situations like this. And so right off the bat, the spikenard, really super good choice in those scenarios, especially shaking things off more towards the end of the day. Vetiver or Ruscus. I like that one for you as well. It's calming, soothing, reduces stress, and it's also a big grounding. Spikenard is grounding, but Vetiver and Ruscus are way more grounding than spikenard. And then I like the idea of the bergamot. The bergamot can reduce anxiety, can reduce stress, can open up the chest a little bit. It's kind of calming and soothing to the emotions. Like I find that, when you're pushing and pushing and pushing, sometimes the emotions can get a little bit I don't know if I'd say unstable, but like fluctuate. Because you're going from extreme to extreme to extreme, and then if there's a difficulty. And so bergamot is really good for like calming some of that down and staying pretty even keeled with all the demands they're putting on you. And so like that, and just some good old fashioned Palo Santo or chakra root cleanser, just to like flush things out. The thing that I like about the chakra root cleanser is it's very similar to hyssop, where it helps to kind of clean things out, but it minimizes the tendency to absorb negativity or stress from the environment or from other people. And so hyssop does that, and chakra root cleanser will do that. And so some of the stress that you might be feeling might be for other people. And so I would always kind of factor that in. Just keeping energy moving, mugwort on the arms and legs.
Yeah, I'm doing that one.
Yeah, I think like that combination is a really good survival kit for the kind of work that you're doing, where a lot of detail-oriented work, having to produce results, having to meet deadlines. The only other thing that I might work in there for more like mental stress, when you're having to process like a lot of information or make a lot of quick decisions, would be basil. And basil I would probably take internal. It's a mental stimulant, and is really good for stress.
Okay, like take it like a drop during the day internal.
Oh, I'd probably take 3 or 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like when I need to get clear, just take.
Yeah. When you need to get clear, when you need to get focused, when you need to shake off the last couple hours, when you're starting to, how like you might be performing, but then all of a sudden you kind of like start losing your momentum and start kind of like, ugh, you're trying to focus, but you're having a hard time doing it. That's usually mental stress.
So
And
like,
so,
or a restart.
Yeah.
Reset.
Yeah.
Okay. So
and
for,
if you're starting off and you're like, say, even the beginning of the day and the head's not clear, the basil should even help clear that up.
okay. Okay. So for the CRC,
Mhm.
where I am right now, I can't take salt baths because of the pipes.
Mhm.
So I know the body tonic,
Yeah,
is that
that's
right?
perfect. Yeah.
And what would be another way that I could use it?
I'm just going through and inhaling and just like check in with different parts of your body.
Okay.
Like you could lay in bed and just go, okay, my feet, my legs, my hips, my back, my abdomen, like, and just keep inhaling as you go through the different sections. It'll flush it out.
Okay. And how do I take the bergamot?
Remember, like way back in the day, when I'd get off the plane, fly in there, and we'd be like teaching in an hour or two, and I'd just look like I was like just a wreck and like tired, and then I'd be all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed when it came time to remember.
It was amazing how you did that.
So I would inhale chocolate root cleanser, I would clean things up, and then I'd blast my Ming Min and my basic just to pop things and get it going, and it'll pull you out of so many things that way.
But the bergamot,
Mm-hmm.
how do I take that? Did
You can
say?
inhale it. You can inhale it. You can take it internally. You could put it in a little bit of lotion, rub it on the chest. But I'd say either inhale or take internal.
Okay, internal.
Mm-hmm.
And vetiver.
Again, inhalation or internal.
And spikenard.
Same. Inhalation or internal. Spikenard, I would add rubbing it on your feet or up on the neck and shoulder area, like up in here. That's a pretty good combo as well.
What about the ointment every night? Spikenard ointment every night.
Put it on your feet and then up on like your neck and shoulder area.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Neck and shoulder.
Yeah.
Wow, Greg. I thought I had my routine down. I have a new one.
Well, and like it's not like you need to do all of those every day, but I would start playing with them because sometimes like stress and anxiety, they're not always the same. They're not always caused by the same thing. There's stress from people being upset at you or demanding something from you versus you have a lot to do and you're a little bit tired. Still can produce stress, still can produce anxiety, but they might have different remedies, and so the thing with the vetiver and the spikenard is they're very relaxing, but they're also oddly fortifying. They're not strengthening like if you were to take like cinnamon or something or thyme, but they are still fortifying. They're fortifying to the nerves, they're fortifying to the immune system. They'll strengthen the body and they'll keep you from using like excess like energy to do something, because like that's the thing when we get a little bit agitated or when we get stressed out or when we get influenced by other people, sometimes we're using, like, this is just a made up thing, but like you're using 20 units of energy per hour when really you probably could get everything done with 5. Because we get a little bit upset, you get a little bit emotional, you get a little bit stressed out, you start getting tense, and all of that is consuming energy and causing fatigue. And so the spikenard and the vetiver actually kind of helps calm that down so that you're not expending that energy so much. And the tendency is over a period of time, it usually doesn't happen in a single day, but over a period of time, you start having more energy doing what you're doing because you're able to conserve somewhat.
That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
I'm getting
Yeah.
frustrated, overwhelmed,
Yeah.
and it's taking me a while to come back to normal.
Yeah. Very, very common with things that are like in the workplace, very like deadline oriented, you know, time sensitive, deadline oriented, or when you have not just a goal, like we're all working together for this thing at the end of the month, but when you go, okay, I have 5 different goals because I have 5 different situations, like, you know, you have all these like smaller goals that you're always having to hit the markers for. Those can wind people up quite easily. And so, you know, you watch your breath, you watch all kinds of things, but part of it is you want to just keep calming down the nervous system. And you're kind of, by doing that, calming down some of the responses in the endocrine system. And so over a period of time, it just allows you to be kind of even keeled in the workplace. When there's a lot being demanded of you, it's like the stress level doesn't go up or the energy consumption doesn't increase. You just go, okay, you know, gotta just keep my pace and fire through this day. And, you know, you look at your person that you're working with. I'm sure he's a nice guy and everything, but that's what happens. Like they get a little bit ungrounded, they start losing energy. And then when the energy starts to go down, you kind of start to panic because you don't have the energy to maybe do what you're doing or to fulfill, you know, your projects for the day, or, you know, whatever it is. And so you could kind of see in him what happens when things are unregulated. So your goal is to be not him. Like, you know, just
Yeah.
ground yourself, keep yourself calm, keep focused, you know, don't do a lot of multitasking, try to just stay on one topic. And then when you move to the next one, it's because that is done, right? You know, because the multitasking also will, I mean, sometimes you still need to do it, but it starts to consume a lot of energy because you have to keep going. Where did I leave off? I need to pick up. You know, you need to be able to put it down because it's done. So like just get into the habit, like as soon as you start something, I'm going to finish it before I move on. Unless there's an emergency. It doesn't have to be super rigid, but rigid enough to where it's not taking away from your efforts. You know, and in my earlier days, I used to really like to multitask, but I found that I don't know. I didn't get as much done. And now I still take on as much work, but I go from one thing to the next to the next. And so, like, if I'm in the middle of blending, that's what I'm doing. I'm not stopping to go run to the post office or, you know, do a phone call and then jump back in, unless I have a lot of time for that way. Like if I'm blending, I'm blending. If I'm doing phone calls, I do my phone calls. If I'm whatever I'm doing, I stay focused on that so that I'm done and I can walk away and I don't have to keep going, but I have that to go back to. You know, you just knock it off your plate and then move forward.
Right. I think that's a good plan. And I'm noticing I am needing to do that more.
Yeah, it was a game changer for me. Oof, game changer. Oh my God.
So I just have 2 more things. So I want